Well, good afternoon, yes, and I'm in Port Slade near Brighton, and today I'm in a lovely garden on a really beautiful day, which is July. I think summer's finally arrived because it's been awful. It's almost been like autumn, and I've got friends who've been putting the heating on, putting jumpers on. Normally this time of year you're laying in bed, aren't you, and you're in the rood. But there we are. And today, it's been a long time for me and my guest today, who is a delight. I used to be his agent. We've been friends for well over 20 years. We've done many things together, and of course is the highly talented, wonderful, very funny Stewart Barham.
Stewart James Barham.
Stewart James Barham. Barham. Is that the same place where my mother's buried?
In Kent. There is a Barham in Kent. I think there's several places.
That's the crematorium. Yeah, well, we'll talk about that later.
There was a ship in the war called the Barham. It sank. Says a lot for me, doesn't it?
Yeah. You're going to end up with two Kenneth Williams today as well. Oh. Now, here we are, and we've known each other a damn long time. We've worked together many times on events.
All sorts of things, yeah.
Events, for one way of putting it, you know what I mean? Films, little skits, little bits of telly and all that. And at one time I was your agent, but how did you first ever get into the business as an actor? What persuaded you to take the jump into...
Oh, goodness me. Well, I used to do plays at primary school, and I loved them, and then I lost all my confidence, and then I think in my late teens I wouldn't even walk into a pub on my own. I was so shy. And then one day I think it was when I kind of worked out who I really was, with everything, me, who I am. I sort of thought, let's look into that. And then I went out with an actor for about a year, and he was quite established. He'd done quite a few things, little bits of TV and stuff. He got me on his agent's books. This was around 1994, and I started to do lots of background work. My first ever thing was a night shoot in King's Cross on a BBC drama called Meat, as in MEAT, with Johnny Lee Miller. He was quite a dish.
Oh yes, he became quite well known as a film actor.
Yeah, a year or two later he got Trainspotting and stuff.
Yeah.
So that was my first thing on TV. It was a night shoot.
I remember Meat, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, you could take it the wrong way, couldn't you? But that's how you started. And what were you doing before you became an actor?
Oh, I left school quite early. I was 16. I went straight into normal work. I was a silk screen printer. I worked.
So was I.
Yeah. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Silk scroll. Two silk screen printers.
Oh, there's a couple of old queens doing that, isn't it?
I worked in the job centre for 6 months. Now, when I worked in the job centre, a lot of actors used to come in and sign on. And I got chatting to them. I remember a guy called Alec Linstead. He was in a Doctor Who story called Robot, and he was in a few other Doctor Who's, and he was one of these actors that was in loads of things. He used to come in, he used to kind of salute me, I'm not quite sure why, and I saluted him, and then we chatted, and he said, become an actor, get into it, really go for it. And I thought, oh yeah, he's signing on. I'll become an actor. That's great. That's a brilliant future. But no, I mean, I jest. We had all sorts.
Didn't bode well, did it really?
Matthew Waterhouse, who played Adric in Doctor Who, he came in to sign on.
Enough said.
I was going to go for a drink with him as well, but we didn't meet up. But
he's all right. He was all right. But
all these things added to it.
Yeah, he and I had a relationship for a little while. It was a bit like a pregnancy. It was 9 months. And the fact is that I would run lines with him for Doctor Who, and
doesn't show. He's always forgetting them. Bless. Sorry, Matthew.
Well, no offence to him. I don't know if he's any improvement, but at that time he was wrong for that part. He was not, in my eyes, capable of taking a major role like that on, albeit for Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. But he then went on and did one-man shows and things like that. So that's brilliant. That's fantastic. But as you say, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Of course, yeah.
Luckily, you were in the environment of taking all these actors in to sign on, and you were actually signing them on. And unlike today, which is purgatory for people, as you know, under universal credit, you suddenly came out of that and went into
I didn't go straight into acting. I was a civil servant for 10 years at the British Library.
Well, that's more interesting.
That was hugely interesting. I mean, oh goodness, and the people I met loads of famous people there. They used to come in and read all sorts, and it was an incredible job. I did worked in all sorts of departments and stuff, 10 years almost, and then it was during my time at the British Library that I started to do a lot more acting, like joined the local theatre group. I did 2 years at the drama college called the City Lit, the City Lit in Holborn. So that was all very local. So it was all coming together. And as I say, in the British Library, I was, it was a really good job. I could have.
Well, the British Library obviously gives you also the intention, if you've already got a creativity in you, that because you've got so much in front of you to draw on.
Yeah.
You're going to then it's going to rub off, and then that just infuses you, to get on and do more things.
I think it did. There was a lot of creative people there. And also, my drama college, there was a reading list, as long as your arm, for plays. And all my fellow students were having trouble finding them because a lot of them were quite old and hard to get hold of. And of course, I had them all at the British Library, so there they all were. Yeah. I was quite lucky.
I wonder if I'm in the British Library somewhere.
Oh, I'm sure you're filed somewhere, darling.
Yes,
I'm quite sure.
One or two things I've done, yes, you never know. So that's a marvellous thing to me to move on. So you went into drama school, basically. Which drama school was it?
City Lit.
City Lit. And you were there for 2 years. And how did that go? Was it a good school?
The first year, it was great. The first year I got so much out of it. It really stretched me out of my comfort zone and all that. Classes were small and it was brilliant. And then in the second year, it was all classes were bigger. It was all a bit rushed. TV technique in 6 weeks, which I was learning more about TV technique by doing it. Like I'd been doing a lot of background work since 93, 94. By the late 90s, I felt like I'd learned quite a bit. Because some of it, back in the day, you could get elevated to walk on easier than you probably could now. So there was a chance to do all sorts of more interesting things than just standing in the background.
In the queue in Albert Square in the cafe.
Oh, all of that. Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
The Bill, because I used to live near the studio for the Bill.
I used to cast a lot for the Bill when I was a casting director.
So of course, that was fun because I was a male nurse in the Bill, and I was a convict and a car thief and all sorts of things. So yeah, it was interesting.
Did you ever appear on Crime Watch? Because I used to do a lot of casting for. They were called Virtual, and they were the main casting directors, but subcontracted out to me because they could never find any proper one. And I did so many Crime Watches.
I think I did one years ago.
Might have been through me because I did so many of them. But it's one of those things, as you say, television. If you say 6 weeks being taught it, certain things you can sort of teach it slightly.
Yeah.
But as an actor, the technique of it is intrinsic. It's always television, like film being 35 foot tall in a cinema, and television being like that. As William Hartnell said to Peter Purvis,
keep it all up here.
Small.
Yeah, small.
Keep it small
gestures.
None of this, floundering. And that's why you can look at people someday, even go back. I remember commenting, who's now improved beautifully, Bonnie Langford.
Totally.
When she was musical theatre.
Yeah.
But she played that part as if
she was on the stage.
If she was on a Drury Lane.
Yeah, totally.
But now she's come back into Doctor Who, playing the same. I thought, my God, what a difference!
Oh, completely.
And they're much more endearing.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love it. I'm very much, as you can tell, we've got another Doctor Who fan here, which is, every show I do is got an element of Doctor Who, but it's part of our lives.
It's part of our lives, isn't it? Yeah. It's not just a programme, it's a way of life.
It is a way of life. And I just enjoy the fact that a lot of people still enjoy it up to a point, but you're not too keen at the moment.
I don't mind, there's, because it's been running so long, there's things you can love, things you can dislike and whatever,
61 years this year.
61 years. And it's so big that, you don't have to like everything, but, it's there and I'm glad it's still on. So, yeah.
I'm glad it had that sort of rest for that period.
Oh, I think it did it a wonder of good, yeah.
Yeah. It was a shame that Paul McGann, although he does audios, doesn't he?
Oh, he's brilliant, Paul McGann. Give him a series. He needs a TV show.
Why can't... come on, give him a series.
I mean, they're doing a spin-off, I think, for Sea Devils, but it's like, well, give one to Paul McGann as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they doing a sea devil?
Apparently, this is what I hear, but rumours. Brilliant. We've got a
That's how they
genuine
used to
sea
do
devil here. Brilliant.
Happy days. I mean, just go radiophonic workshop, eat your heart.
Yeah, who needs the radiophonic workshop? Maida Vale? Sod that.
Maida Vale.
We've got Port Slade Village here.
Oh, yeah, we could do it round here, love. Yeah. So, you went and did bits of television. How much theatre did you do?
Oh, I did. To me, it wasn't quite like the old rep, which was obviously was years ago.
Rehearsed one on, one off.
But this was almost similar because the South London Theatre in West Norwood, there was a studio theatre and there was the main theatre, and of course, I did 10 plays in about 5 years, and the bar was very cheap as well, which was nice. But it taught me so much because I started out. I think I did a play called Sauce for the Goose. Mm-hmm. Was it George Fadu? Real comedy farce, and then basically rose up and started playing bigger roles at this theatre.
Yeah.
And it was a really great community, made a lot of friends, had a real laugh, and learned just about being on stage.
Yeah, completely.
A
different technique.
Totally different.
People don't understand it. I'm much more a television film actor rather than stage. Although I've done lots and lots of stage.
You got a face for radio too, haven't you?
There's a 4-letter word. And you're full of it.
Cute.
Cute. You're not far off.
Oh, go on. On you go.
No,
dear.
Yeah, trot on. Yeah, but I did a lot of musical. I did like Joseph and stuff like that with Jess Conrad and all that back in the day in the ensemble, which was great fun because in those days I had a really good voice because I did the Canterbury Cathedral Choir, all that sort of malarkey. But bung me in one of those now, I'll tell you what, if it was on Britain's Got Talent, I would be off in that 3 seconds.
Why?
Because I haven't got the confidence to do that.
Is it a lot of it comes down to confidence, yeah?
We're doing musical theatre, and I can't do stage anymore. I just cannot. Luckily with the lot of work I've done for Stephen and all that, is that he's, as long as I get the gist, that's all right.
It all starts with the gist.
But at the end of the day, you've got to think about it, and although you can know, I've learned scripts and all that, and as soon as I'll just freeze and just don't know, give me the cue, I can't do it like that. But stage, I would absolutely poop myself, and I've done lots of it over the years, absolutely lots of it. But I couldn't go back to it now.
No.
And how, because you don't do panto, do you?
I have done, but not for a while.
Because you normally do ho, ho, ho.
Ho, 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 yeah.
You just told me you've been doing that for 10 years.
This is my 10th year in a row of playing Father Christmas in various places.
Yeah, and it's not a stretch, is it, really?
It's creatively, I enjoy it, I love it, and it's really sweet. But I think it would be nice to do something like panto again, or like a Christmas play. Like, I'd love to play, I have played Ebenezer Scrooge in a theatre and education tour, but I'd like to play him, properly on a proper stage.
I did a street theatre years and years ago as I forgot his name. Marley, as Marley's ghost. Jacob Marley. And the makeup was fantastic. They did a fabulous job of it and all that. But the only problem I had with it is the trains that were round.
Oh God,
were great big plastic things. So it would have been better if they had been a bit heavier because they were giving you more of a stoop. But it was great fun to do. That was up in Twickenham. I did that.
Oh, nice. Good old Twickenham.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking of you coming up for your 10th year and you're still going to be doing ho, ho, ho. Do you grow your own?
No. No, I don't. I have a...
We're not talking about sweet peas either.
I do grow those, they're just there. I have a glue-on beard and moustache, which looks really good. But I also have this other one which hooks over here, which is... I think a bit too big. You can't see much of my face, so I'm going to use the glue-on one this year. Yeah,
I used to, even at, when I did Lapland UK, they used to say, well, you've got your beard, and I said, yeah. So what? Well, you've got to have our beard. And I said, no. And I looked at this so-called makeup artist, and I said, you've not been doing this very long, have you? And she said, what do you mean? I said, watch. So you just glue it where you need to glue it and all that, and all the fleshy bits, and then you pat it down, and it stays there all day. I said, guess what? You've learned something today. So don't be condescending. It really pisses me off, Bob, and really pees me off when people think you don't know what you're doing, and you've been doing it for years.
Teaching your grandmother to suck eggs, I think the expression is,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, we're going to take a break there. Be back in a minute. And welcome back. Right, so we've been just having a little break here, talking about our favourite subject, which is Doctor Who. So that might come up again in a moment. But the one thing I want to move on now with you, Stewart, is the amount of corporate stuff you do, events. Not so much ho ho ho, because that's going to happen, and if you want to carry on doing it, you'll carry on doing it. But there's many other things that people seem, a lot of actors turn, I don't know, is it going to be good for my career? Well, there's big round sphericals is what I say, because it can be quite lucrative.
Yeah, it is. It can be.
So what have you done in that?
Well, I work at Goodwood, which is obviously not too far away from here. They've got an Actors Guild, so we do all sorts of things there.
I know it, yeah.
I play for the bank holiday weekend coming up soon. I'm playing a Victorian Circus strongman. You should see the outfit for that. And then the Goodwood Revival, which happens every year. That's 3 days of absolutely solid improvisation. They're long days, but
Well, as you know, I actually did Goodwood before you.
Yes, you did.
With a lady who remained nameless, who was, shall we just say, a little bit upper and all that. But the majority of people that work at Goodwood are not professional actors. I hate using the word professional, but they're very good amateurs at what they do. They like all that goes with it, and they do dress them beautifully.
Oh, costumes are amazing. It's brilliant. It's tiring because obviously the day starts early, but I'm used to that, But 3 days of absolute improvisation and excitement and colour and vintage stuff, and it's full on, but it's great. It's a good full on,
I started with the Festival of Speed playing Hill Climber, which is one of on the racetrack. It's called the Hill, and we were hill climbers. Not that we ever got in near a racing car or anything like that, but Miss Donahue decided that, I think the best thing for you, because you're so good with people, which is kind of her to say, you're so good with people, would you be our liaison on the buses? So I became Olive on the buses, dressed as a hill climber. So I take people from the race course down to the main event and all that, and look very backwards and forwards. And I really enjoyed that, because you could interact on the bus, which was a double-decker bus. I mean, you can imagine what a laugh that was. I was fitter then.
I can imagine.
And it was good for me because I could, as you know, my walking's bad now, but I couldn't go back to Goodwood.
Sure. It requires a lot of physical stamina.
Yeah.
But I do all sorts of other things as well. I play dinosaurs, in adventure parks.
One of those great big things you have to do.
I do a lot of mascot work, and the fact is it pays quite nicely for what it is, and no one knows it's you, and there's a lot of it around at this time of year.
In this sort of coming up heat.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the way to lose a bit of weight.
I wear a green morph suit, and then I have to go into a rubber dinosaur suit, and then run around in this heat, and worse. It's been hot.
This is quite mild.
Yeah.
This is my temperature.
Oh yeah, this is good. But anything more than this, and it's like, but it is great weight loss, and I enjoy it. The thing is, I do so many varied things anyway. I don't want to kind of section myself off and say, oh no, can't do that. Don't want to try that, because I always try things. I've done comedy dining. I haven't done murder mystery yet. I've kind of done.
Well, I did a lot of that.
Yeah, we did something like
well, we did that was actually not. That was more a medieval
kind of evening,
that
wasn't
you came in and we did it. We had such a laugh.
It was funny.
Absolutely hilarious, and all dressed in our medieval costumes and all that, and all the diners, shall we say, got rather merry.
Yeah, just a bit.
And all that. There was one you came in to help me out because they couldn't get somebody to. I can't remember. It's a long. God, it's ages.
Oh yeah, time goes quickly, doesn't it?
But I remember we were just talking about when I was your agent, and I was for several years. I think I got you a Crime Watch, and I can't remember which one because I did so many of them.
It was a long time ago, but one thing you got me was a play. It's like mini kind of coffee scenes, cafe society. We did something set in cafes called Coffee House, and I think.
Oh, that was with that lady called Linda.
Linda, yeah.
And June.
And dear June Elvin, yeah, bless her.
Who unfortunately passed away. You said 6 years ago.
5 years.
5 years. Who never really, wonderful woman, but never really. She did a couple of films back in the late 40s and 50s. And like the Small Back Room and stuff like that. But she's got quite a nice part in and all that. But she was a very competent actress.
Oh, she was brilliant. I loved her.
And she was in that. And that was what used to be the old post office.
Oh, what? Where the Red Roaster is now?
Yeah, that's where we did that.
We did the Red Roaster, yeah. We did quite a few there. We did one in 2004, or several, and then we did a couple of years later. We got some new scenes.
I think I only did one because Linda and I had a parting of the ways, put it that way. Okay. And I felt, no, you've got your cast now, because a lot of these people came to, because I was an agent at the time, and a casting director, would come to me and say, have you got anyone that suits this sort of thing? And I said, well, I'll have a word and all that. And have a look through, and I always was able to provide someone who was at least competent.
I remember my first time walking through the doors of Cyber Artists back in 2004. I just moved down to Brighton, and
20 years ago.
Oh, 20 years, yeah. Happy anniversary, 20 years. And there you
Man
were.
and boy.
With your colleague and Amanda. And I was like really nervous. I had to do a little scene for you, didn't I? I had to do a little scene.
Yeah, you couldn't have been that nervous because we never put people in that situation to make them nervous.
No,
just enjoy
just
yourself.
Natural nerves.
Like we've said earlier, there's no point in doing it like that. We do it small because we're right in front of you.
Obviously did something right because you took me on, didn't you?
Oh yeah, and you were very good. I mean, I had a really good selection of actors of all shapes and sizes. There was only one or two that gladly left us. And went on to another agent and never did anything again. And of course, when I retired from being a casting director and an agent, they all came to, I think including yourself, well, what am I going to do? I said, you'll find another agent equally and probably even better than I am, to carry on with it. But it was hard work. I loved it. I have, occasionally, like you said, well, will you be my agent?
Yeah, I'm so available for I need an agent, but just kind of doing my own thing at the moment.
Well, so what? I haven't got an agent. I mean, I'm in Spotlight and all that sort of malarkey.
But I think it's easier now because of social media and stuff. I mean, there's jobs on Facebook, and there's like the immediacy of applying for myself through Spotlight and Mandy and Star Now and Backstage and all of those things.
I don't do Star Now. I don't do Mandy. I don't do Spotlight now, and I don't have to pay for Spotlight. I get that free.
Oh wow. Mm-hmm. Lucky old you.
Because of disabilities and things like that. Right. I didn't think I'd get it. I applied for it and I got it. But a lot of it, the filters on Spotlight can be a bit much. You turn and they say, look, all this transgender business and all that, and they're looking for a character called Agatha. And you're saying to yourself, well, why has that been sent to me? Because it says man, woman, transgender, all this. I suppose legally they've got to do it these days. I think it's all a bit much,
It's the 21st century.
Well, like you say, it's like turning the Doctor into a female.
Well, yeah. I mean, the Doctor's been many things now, hasn't he?
Not all.
Yeah.
It. Yeah. So you've gone on. You've done Goodwood. You've done all these corporate stuffs. I mean, I think you did a couple of those for me because I was working. I can't remember the name of the company. We did loads and loads for them, mostly MOD.
Yeah, there was a company down here. I can't remember the name of them now, but I did a lot of costume character stuff with them, like superheroes and that sort of thing.
Yeah, because you have been Superman, okay?
Superman, Batman, Robin. I mean, I've been.
You got all the costumes.
I haven't been Wonder Woman yet. I've got my own costumes.
You
Spider-Man.
should do Wonder Woman. That would be a cat with a beard.
Wonder Woman with
you
a beard.
You could do a Kenny Everett. Kenny
Everett. Oh yeah. I won't do the thing with the legs.
Yeah. All the boobies. No, I love the idea that actors do such things like that because it's what I call bread and butter.
Yes, it is exactly that, bread and butter money. It's all the nice little things that I do. It's random. It's varied. Life is never dull. There's always something. I do a lot of content creation stuff now. Like I can do it from home. I've done stuff just sitting here on my own phone, and they send me a nice check, and I get the product as well, and it's from home. So it's been nice, and I'm doing a lot more of that now than ever before.
Oh, you'll have to put me in touch.
Yeah, content creation, it's brilliant. I've had all sorts of products to endorse, to talk about.
Well, I remember going on Facebook over a year ago.
Solar panels.
And it comes up, they've got this flick-up thing. He's talking about solar panels.
Yeah, or erectile dysfunction.
Walking down a road.
Yeah, Portsmouth.
Was it? Did you do that on a?
Oh, he had a kind of something technical, I had auto cue on there as well. But
I thought you didn't learn it.
Yeah. Oh, did it show?
No, I just thought he's doing that really well. I mean, you must be doing on auto cue.
Yeah, but I've got used to. I've done a lot of auto cue stuff now. I've kind of got used.
Oh,
to
I
it.
like auto cue.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
I'm always a bit worried about, because you've got to be very careful when you're reading it. It's how to with the eye line.
The eye line, but also just to make it, to infuse it with, like, for example, the content creation stuff, I've got to be kind of like your everyman. It's just natural.
It's ordinary.
Again, it's another gear change of acting. It's a different style of acting. It's not theatre, it's not TV, it's not commercial as such. It's just kind of real.
Yeah.
It's just changing the gear again. Slightly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have to change the gear big, but sometimes slight, just to kind of fit what you're doing into what it is. Like content creation is quite a precise thing. I do medical role play. Again, that's a different.
Well, my chum, David Ramel, he does a lot of that.
Yeah, I've seen him.
When you pretend to be ill.
Yeah. I've just done one recently. I'm doing some safety training role play yesterday and tomorrow. I was underneath an overturned car yesterday, pouring with blood from a pretend wound, and again, it's all a question of realism. Oh, it was agony taking it off with her hair.
Yeah.
But again, it's another change of gear change.
Direction.
Yeah, it's a slightly different kind of acting.
Yeah, I have been very lucky in my career because I started quite young, although it's off and on for me for a long time. You started quite late.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, if you don't try it, don't knock it until you tried it.
Don't knock it till you tried it.
Oh, I couldn't possibly do that, and that's sort of...
I used to be like that when I was younger and less experienced and more nervous, and now I'm like, well, what have I got to lose? If I don't like
when
it.
I was younger, I never found that with you at all. I knew you had a passion to do it.
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's it. You've got to have a passion.
It's still there, and that's the thing. Once the passion goes, there's no point in doing it. Change direction.
Well, that's what Kathy Burke said. That's why she became a director. She said the passion for acting actually left me. I love the directing and all that. And occasionally she might, for a chum, do a cameo. I remember in that lovely series Psycho Bitches where she's just pretending, she's just playing the model Mona Lisa with that inanimate smile.
I've never seen it.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, I have to look for that.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And they say, we've always wanted to ask you why was that beauty, that lovely sort of smile. She's just so smart. She's got no tooth in her head, a bit like me. And I absolutely wet myself because it literally was a fleeting glimpse. But she's a fabulous actor, or was. But that's it. When you get tired of it, or you haven't got the passion to do it, you move on to do something else.
But that's the thing. I'm doing so many different things that it never kind of gets dull. I'm going to be adding, hopefully, singing to the repertoire soon because I have sung before, but. It's another avenue, it's another way of making more money, but it's also just something else I want to do. It's another itch I need to scratch, really.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it goes.
And if it doesn't work, you've got it out your system.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to try it though. I'm nervous about it, but again, the nerves are what drives you on. You know, if I wasn't nervous about it, then it'll be like, whatever. You know.
Oh, yeah. It's like it's that I can do that, and then you look at them and they can't. I remember we had one particular client who remained nameless. It was really way up ego, super ego, and he decided to leave us because I didn't cast him in something that we were casting. He said, I don't understand why you didn't give me that part. I was perfect for it. And I said, if you had been perfect for it, you would have got it. I said, what you don't realise, is as the casting director, who I report to, the producer, exec producer and the director, if I get it wrong and you go in, then that's my reputation as much as yours. So you've got to look at it in those ways. Don't take it personally. And a lot of those super egos do take it personally because they think they are the best. Yeah. And you never ever stop learning in this game.
Oh, never.
Ever.
Ever. The minute you stop learning, it's like time to get out. Yeah. Because it's a constant. I mean, I like that aspect of it, you know, because you're never going to hit a wall because the wall keeps being moved further back, you know, or sideways, whatever. Yeah. You just keep going and learning stuff, and sometimes you fail, sometimes you succeed, and you know that's part of the excitement.
Do you play any instruments?
No, I did buy a guitar on Facebook Marketplace, but it's sitting in the loft at the moment, gathering dust. It's
not too far to go. It's only a bungalow, so he hasn't got far to climb to get it.
Yeah, there's a bit of an empire up there, all sorts of things, but no.
Well, I play the piano and all that. I've got a wonderful machine at home. I haven't played it probably in 20 years.
Time to get your organ out.
On that note, we'll be back. And we're back. Yes, so it is now time for you were talking about how your life has changed so much in a random pattern doing acting. Try and give us a sense of what that means to you.
Well, I mean, I moved down here in 2004 to Brighton from London. I mean, I took a huge gamble.
I became his agent.
He became my agent, Auntie Mark, and I quit my full-time job at the British Library. I could have been there forever, because it was very difficult to try and squeeze in the acting and the main job.
That's the problem, isn't it?
So in the end, one of them had to go, and I thought, I want to
take the plunge.
Pursue this and take the plunge.
It's not so bad these days, is it? Because you don't have to go to auditions. Most of it's done.
It's all done on self-tapes or Zoom. So there's pros and cons to that. We'll get onto that. But the fact is, it has changed so much. I mean, I lead a much more random life now, work-wise, but it's so much more fun, and I'm doing what I want to do. 9 times out of 10, every job I do, I want to be there, and I want to do it. It's my choice to do it, and I love it, and I earn good money. Creatively, I'm kind of like just feeling great with it all, so yeah, it's brilliant.
I think I might have to become your sole agent.
I think you'll have to.
Well, I don't do anything else. I've still got the contacts,
Well, I need contacts, that's the thing. I want the contacts.
And it's a job I really enjoyed. And when I married my husband, I've been married 14 years, and I was tinkering, I was still acting and things like that. Children. And I became a COVID specialist, all those other things. You've got to keep at something else. And I don't know what to do, because I quite like the freedom of doing bits and pieces. So if an acting job comes up, I can fit into it or whatever, having to go to London, lovely, no problem at all. And he just said, well, why don't you do it then? And since then, it's, although I was still doing it, my CV is so long on Spotlight, it's ridiculous. You look at them and go, Jesus Christ. And then you can't remember what you're like, what did you, can't remember.
Yeah,
don't even remember doing that.
The longer you go on, the more it accumulates, and the harder it is to try and think, oh yeah, I did that then, and because sometimes I bump into actors that I work with, and I'm like, what was it? When was it? Who was it?
You know the labour-saving device that is.
Go on.
Hello, darling.
Darling, yeah.
You can't remember their name. Hello, darling. Now, do remind me what did we do?
Yeah, I've kind of had to do that a few times.
Yeah.
Because not because it wasn't important and it didn't mean anything. It's just because there is a lot of it, and it changes so rapidly to one group of actors, and it's just really random.
Well, I started very young in Danger Man as a little kid, and then in Oliver the film, although I was, blink and miss, sweetie, forget that. So that's nice to have,
Is that Patrick McGowan, Danger Man?
Danger Man, yeah. Anyway, because Dad was a friend of...
I thought you were going to say Danger Mouse.
Could have done that too. But then did things like The Prince and the Pauper and things like that. So it was only blink and misses. It wasn't... I think the Canterbury Tales with Franco... was it? I can't remember. Was it
Franco Zeffirelli?
Can't remember. In Canterbury.
Oh, nice.
And then I moved on from that and did a bit more telly, like Who and things like that. But you sort of have done all these other things, and film has now come into your life in a much bigger way. But your first TV was Meat, and then what was your first TV was Meat? Your first film?
My first film, I think, as far as I can remember, because there might have been one or two before them, but the main one was a film called Seagulls, which was filmed in Brighton in 1997. It was a bit like a kind of train spotting vibe, there was like...
they do a lot of that down here.
Yeah, but it was a feature film, and I was offered two roles. I was offered the gay character, who was only in it briefly, or this real kind of geezer bloke who's a bit racist, homophobic, sexist, and I thought, that's a challenge, let's play him, because he's in it all the time. So in the end,
it just proves the point that gay actors can play straight men and straight men can play gay characters. Yeah.
Well, Adam Garcia ended up playing the gay character in the film. I played this kind of
handsome man.
Yeah, he was nice. I liked working with him, and then we did this over 2 weeks in Brighton. It was a bit of a lost 2 weeks because it was all very hedonistic. But yeah, I was still learning. I was just about ready to start.
It was so hedonistic, which means they were piddled most of the time.
Just a bit. But it was fun. And, looking at the film, it could use some editing and this, that and the other, but it was a real experience for me and a memorable experience, and it also ignited my love for Brighton.
And of course it was done on film, there wasn't digital in those days.
It was done on, I don't know what it was done on, but it was done on, it would have been, this was 97, and then it was shown in a cinema down here, and it was like, wow, I could get used to this. And of course, I was still very much working at the British Library then, so I was still trying to just juggle everything,
I love doing film on celluloid because you can't waste. It's so expensive.
Yeah, every frame counts.
Every frame counts, so you can't bugger it up, basically. But I do remember doing one or two other films. They're blink and misses and all that. But as you say, I think I've got no memory of it at all. So I do understand when people are very well known and they're showing a piece of VT of them in this film they've done.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
When Beatrice Lilly was still on the stage, we go,
was that me in there? Am I doing that? It's
So we've you did basically, which became my first Marc and Chums. So this is like a repeat. This is the nicest garden centre in the whole of the British-speaking world. I mean British because you could be Welsh, Scottish and all that.
I grew up in Tower. Here she is.
Oh, hello.
Yes, come in.
Oh, there she is.
How are you?
This is Stewart, who may be coming to work as well as an elf, because...
Fabulous.
The oldest elf in town.
Yeah, but with earrings.
Oh yeah, well,
you know about my pain threshold, Stewart. And this is Stephen, who's going to do some film for you for your website and all that, and making a film about my life.
Oh, lovely.
And you were there, and it was it wasn't sort of a chat show thing. It was more just camping it up outrageous.
It was
and
easy
having a
to camp
photo
it up.
Session.
Yeah, it was very easy to camp it up in what I was
And we
wearing.
did that in July. God,
yeah.
I was in all that blinking stuff.
That was hot. Yeah.
Do you remember?
That was hot.
God, I was like, all that. My makeup started to run. Honestly, I look like Nosferatu. But you've done a few films for Zelica, haven't you? Or Zelica, whatever you want to pronounce
I've
it.
done a film called Pale Shadows. That was
Pale
Nosferatu,
Shadows.
wasn't it?
Nosferatu. Well, I played Nosferatu.
Yeah, you were. You stood over me, all kind of like full of bloodlust.
Which was filmed in colour, but then converted to high definition black and white, and it was silent film. So we could have said anything, and we did. And the fact is, I don't corpse often.
Oh dear, oh dear. I corpse
So
quite a
I'm
lot.
standing over him with his great big cloak, you know, white face, pointy beard, very similar to Marc Sinclair, who played it in the first Nosferatu film, Pale Shadows we called this. And you got a crucifix or something like that. And I'm doing all that take it away business. And I was doing straight big Christopher Lee job, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's wetting himself. And you just got a fit of the giggle.
Oh, I did, yeah. Shocking.
But I do
Terrible.
that too. I mean, but I try to staunch again.
I'm shocking.
Got to
like
do that again then,
I'm
don't you?
terrible.
Yeah. Well, no, I love an outtake. Don't I, Stephen? I love an outtake. You know, I really do, because
It didn't happen on Kestrel House, the other film I did, because you weren't there. You were.
You were on one. I was playing the sort of Baron Magister, and it was a reasonably small part because it was really the girls' film. And I had playing that lovely organ up in the loft and all this other bits and pieces that would go. You see, men do often go down the wrong path of destiny.
It's a corpse. It's an empty vessel.
Still a lot of love left in her.
I want my 4p back.
Not.
Alice was a model of comeliness. Her cheeks were as a peach, her lips honeydew, her teeth strings of pearls, her breasts were pert with rosy buds that stood at bay, her body rose and fell with grace under the blouse.
I think he did a brilliant job. You did a brilliant. I mean, you had things stuffed in your face that you don't normally.
Yeah, I had to tie myself to the bed and.
You have no expertise.
Yeah,
in
as
the,
if I'm reaching for her.
yeah.
You know. Booby doos, and I'm like, yeah, this is
Those magnificent memories.
a change is as good as a rest, they say.
Yeah, but but did you have the giggles on that now?
I didn't. I was very serious and professional on that one because you weren't there. You see.
Oh, I don't start people off. I can tell you.
Oh goodness.
And luckily, I've done so many films with Stephen now and all that. I said, well, I want all the outtakes. He said, but there aren't any more.
They've been wiped. Yeah, you see, they're not for posterity. Maybe they're going to be put with all those missing Doctor Who episodes. You know, we'll find Mark the forgotten
They'll find
scenes.
them. They'll probably bury them in the Blue Peter Garden.
Oh, the outtake. Oh yeah, goodness. Oh.
But no, I remember you in that film. It was a great hoot to do that one.
It was fun.
We did do a film called Dr. Eisenhurst, which has now just been. Unfortunately, you couldn't do it because you were doing something else, and I wanted you in that one. But what happened was that was done, and is now on Amazon Prime.
Oh wow. Cool.
so the sort of preview that it was on YouTube has now been taken off because people have to, and it's not expensive. And Kestrel House, well, that's up and coming to go on Amazon Prime as Kestrel House in its entirety.
Brilliant.
As the director would like it, put it that way.
Absolutely.
So what is up and coming up? Well, we know you've got Christmas. We know you're going to be doing this, whatever you're doing tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You've got any other thing? I mean, and you've also done an awful lot of, and I don't think, I can't remember, with the wonderful Sarah Mann.
Brighton Shakespeare Company.
Yeah, you do. I saw you in when you did one in the church.
Yeah, can I say Macbeth? I can say Macbeth. We're not in a theatre. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've done about 7 with them, 7 plays.
Wonderful. How do you retain it?
Julius Caesar, that was the biggest one. I was playing Brutus, and I had so much to learn.
Which actually is Shakespeare's shortest play as well.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Didn't seem like it at the time, but I mean, it was great. I loved it. I want to do another one. I'm very keen to do another one.
Have you done Midsummer Night's Dream?
Yes.
Love it.
Yeah.
I played Snout the Tinker.
Oh, of course you did. That was Demetrius.
Yeah. Here, Peter Prince. There's my chink.
Oh, it's good. I like it. It's a good chink.
My chink.
It's the best chink I've seen.
Yeah, definitely. Carry on. So you got.
Carry on, seagull.
Let the seagulls go past first.
Oh, they won't. They are not seagulls. Can I point this out? They are called gulls. They do not live in the sea.
They're gulls.
They're gulls. They feed from the sea, or black plastic bags, or chips. So have you got any other sort of films or things coming up that you might...
Yeah, there's a film that I did in Chichester called The Barn, which Kate Winslet was backing with some script appraisal and all that sort of thing.
My friend went to school with her.
Oh, really?
In Reading,
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. Well, that's being shown soon, and yours truly was on the front of the Chichester Observer yesterday. Just in a random picture for the film, so that's coming out, so it's very exciting. There's a couple of films I'm supposed to be doing soon. I think they've been shifted on. You know what it's like with things get shifted on. Sometimes you can do them, sometimes you can't. But so I'm just going to chase those up.
Well, there's one I remember being asked to come and audition. Well, that wasn't really audition with Ewan, who put me in as a cameo into this little piece called High Water. And he said, well, you got the part anyway, Mark, so just wanted to say hi and all of that. And he came in, he couldn't find a lead for this film, High Water. We started filming quite a few years ago now, if I remember right.
2019.
Just before COVID, wasn't it? And I said, there's only one person who can play this part.
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
And Ewan took my advice, and you got the lead in that, and you won Actor of the.
Yeah, it's won. I mean, the film itself has won awards for music and DOP, photography and stuff. I won 4 awards for Best Actor, so I was like chuffed because I'm like, I've never won anything before, so that was really sweet.
You got your certificate?
I've got my certificates.
You put them on the wall.
They will be on the wall eventually. It's one of those things in my pending tray. But I enjoyed doing that.
In gilt frames.
I have to say it was a lot of fun playing the lead. It was a big responsibility playing the lead as well, because you want to make sure that you welcome in everyone who's just in it for a day or so, like yourself and everyone else coming in, and just creating a nice atmosphere and also keeping, because we filmed it over 6 months initially, so trying to keep that level of, where have I been, what am I doing, where am I going to, and I hope there's a consistency of performance throughout it, and I think there is. I'll let others decide that.
What I've seen of it, yes. Yeah. I've even seen that. I'm on it for about 90 seconds.
It's a great 90 seconds.
We did laugh.
Oh, again, laugh. We laughed a lot.
We were stuck in, I played a tarot card, stuck in a cupboard under the pier.
There's no closet that can contain him.
We put 2 queens in there, darling. It was really great fun.
It was hot. It was really hot.
It was a really hot day. We'd had a few coffees and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And, I enjoyed that very much indeed. So I'd like to think I got you a good part as your ex-agent.
Ex-agent. You're still pushing for me.
Yeah. And we might be thinking about going down that avenue again soon.
Let's do it.
So, Stuart, thank you so much for allowing us into your home today.
Thank you, Mark.
I hope you've enjoyed it.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can get together and do another couple of bits of nonsense as soon as possible.
I'm always up for nonsense. Bless you.
Bless you.
Take care.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me.
Bum ba da bum bum bum.